Hello and welcome to the channel. Presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, has echoed Microsoft founder Bill Gates in saying that the japa syndrome is of benefit to Nigerians. The trend is becoming more popular recently owing to the abysmal state of the country, as more and more young Nigerians are hoping to change their circumstances and that of their family by moving abroad. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Nigeria will benefit from japa, says Peter Obi. The Labour Party presidential candidate during the February 25th presidential election, Peter Obi, has said Nigeria stands to benefit from the rising exodus of Nigerians to other countries. The Punch reports that there has been a rise in the number of Nigerians leaving the country in droves in search of greener pastures. The phenomenon is popularly known as japa, a Yoruba slang that simply means to flee from a problem or trouble. The Punch had on June 15 reported that the House of Representatives unanimously voted against a motion seeking to make the federal government address the issues causing Nigerian professionals to migrate to other countries en masse. But corroborating Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist Bill Gates on Thursday, the former Anambra State governor said the japa syndrome is healthy for Nigeria. Gates had on Wednesday, during an interactive session with innovators on advancing Africa, unleashing the power of youth in science and innovation in Lagos State, said the japa syndrome was good and healthy for Nigeria. In a sense, people living is a good thing if you up the amount of training you're doing. So you say, okay, some of our doctors can go get a very high salary in the UK, the US, some of them will pay their families broadly, and some of them will return. So having a big diaspora that includes people coming back into business, into government, that's a very healthy thing. There are some cases like medical education that were subsidized by the government. You almost wish that a little bit of that resource you get overseas would help the government increase training, because otherwise, and we see today, a significant shortage in some of those skills, Gates said. He added, but I'm not someone who believes that no one should go away or that blocking that completely is a healthy thing. But certainly, India and China, and I will say Nigeria is third on this list. This idea that people go away and do great work, but then they come back. If you get that balance and figure out the education funding piece of that, that is a super healthy thing in computer science, in health, in business, and other areas. Obi, who shared Gates' optimism, said our brain drain today will be our brain gain tomorrow. In a series of tweets on his Twitter handle on Thursday, Obi wrote, I read and agree with Bill Gates' recent comment on the japa syndrome, where, according to reports, he stated that the recent surge of the Nigerian professionals leaving the country for greener pastures is good and healthy for our country. I have always preached and maintained this same position on the japa wave for years now, and throughout my campaign in the last presidential election, especially during my tours from Canada, the USA, Germany, the UK, and other countries, I maintain that our brain drain today will be our brain gain tomorrow. Nigerians leaving the country may look like a loss today, but when we start doing the right things and taking the governance of our nation more seriously, the knowledge and resources from them will be critical in the building of the new Nigeria, as it happened in China, India, Ireland, and other developing countries. Today, India prides itself as one of the countries with the biggest tech talent in the world, having produced some of the world's top engineers and computer scientists. Many top global tech companies are headed by CEOs of Indian origin. So India's success in the tech industry can partly be attributed to its ability to harness the knowledge and resources of Indians in the diaspora for their national growth. Nigeria will grow and develop on all fronts when we build a new Nigeria that prioritizes investment in education, health, and support for small businesses, guarantees respect for the rule of law, security of lives and properties, and unity of the nation. Then our diaspora Nigerians around the world will return home with their global training, skills, and resources to immeasurably contribute to building a new and better Nigeria. We will not give up on our dreams for the new Nigeria. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. Meanwhile, Peter Obi also knocked the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission over its proposed 114% increase in the salaries of elected politicians, including the president, vice president, governors, and lawmakers. RMAFC has come under heavy criticism over its recommendation for an increase in the basic salaries of public office holders in the country. Chairman of the commission, Muhammadu Shehu, who was represented by RMAFC Commissioner from Kebbi State, Mrs. Rakia Tanko Ayuba, dropped the bombshell on Tuesday in Benin Kebbi, the state capital, while presenting the reviewed remuneration package of political and judicial office holders to the state governor, Dr. Nasir Idris. But Obi described the recommendation as insensitive, warning that it should not be the priority of a nation still struggling with minimum wage, with over 133 million Nigerians currently living in abject poverty. The former Anambra governor faulted the move via his verified Twitter handle on Thursday. He tweeted, "I learned with great reservation the approval of a 114% increase in the salaries of elected politicians, including the president, vice president, governors, lawmakers, as well as judicial and public office holders by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. This is not the appropriate time for such a salary increment if it is at all necessary. We are living in a time when an average Nigerian is struggling with many harsh economic realities and with over 130 million Nigerians now living in poverty. This is a moment when recent reform measures by the government have increased living costs astronomically. One would expect the leaders and public office holders to focus on cutting the cost of governance, alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians. This moment calls for creative ways of pulling the majority out of poverty. In the immortal words of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, "What touches us ourselves shall be last served." The leaders, therefore, should prioritize what affects the masses and those on the lower strata of society over themselves. The sacrifice at this time in our nation should be borne by the leaders. The increment should be reversed immediately, and the savings should be devoted to fixing education, health care, and poverty alleviation, especially in the remote rural areas. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.